Welcome, my friends. Again, I'm Kurt Roskoff. I'm a board member with helpopedia.org, and we're here at Spirit of the Game Foundation, where I serve on the Americas Council. And we're coming in here in a fashion with the World Ability Podcast Network, SOTG TV by Spirit of the Game Foundation, and through great recognition out to the Happy Neighborhood Project and all of our happy family out around the world in zip code HAPPY. With those friends, we co-created with our leader, Edwin Edeberry, the happiest place in the world for business people. Happiness is a default position. Happiness is a learnable skill that brings to us the Happiness is a Learnable Skill movement with global happiness summits and celebrating with the United Nations International Day of Happiness, March 20th every year. So a lot has happened through the development of this online community, and in some sense has a little hybrid, element that is emerging out of it. So again, I'm Kurt Roskoff, and so in our TV productions, like I said, with SOTG TV on the Mark TV, nonprofit media solutions going out to nonprofit TV networks. We are partnered with Bravehearts TV. We've got a content creator app. I'm doing stuff with the Great Discovery, the world's largest learning platform. And we have something to celebrate today. We're here with our friend Carolyn Hobbs. And Carolyn Hobbs has quite a story to tell and a milestone to celebrate. That the actual day has come and gone. But Carolyn and I have finally been able to catch up because we talked about several months ago doing something, because this is just really great how we've come to know each other. And we've got other friends that don't know about this milestone yet, right, Carolyn?
That's very true. Yes, a lot do, but there are obviously some that don't. So, yes, hopefully that'll touch them too.
All right. So, Carolyn, I've got a friend who told me one day about 4 years ago that, Kurt, when I hear your story, I feel like I'm meeting Kurt Roskoff 2.0, that I'm hearing about, who you were a number of years ago. That's quite a bit different than everything you would say right now in this celebratory event for the Carolyn's Card Box, as an example. So, we can identify ourselves as a previous rendition of ourselves, and then now life happens to us, and now we've evolved into, making some personal changes in our life and personally growing. So, in that respect, Carolyn, I want to start this with, can you explain to us what your life was like, who you believe you were, or remember you were, or however you want to identify that, prior to Carolyn's Card Box? So let's set Carolyn's Card Box aside. It's still there. The box is still there. Let's come over here. Let's go far enough years ago and tell us your life prior to Carolyn's Card Box. What does that look like? Tell us that story.
Well, the story goes that I was sort of poodling along, doing a 9 to 5 job, and I got married, having been single for a number of years. Got married quite late, and I went along to a horse show. My now ex-husband didn't want to come along, and so I went along on my own and had quite a nice day, actually. It was quite nice to be able to do something that I quite enjoy. Up to that point, I'd spent life, doing what I enjoy, a number of hobbies around working 9 to 5, as most of the world does. And the sort of things changed after I met a lady selling cards that were designed and printed. The designs were by British artists, and they were printed in the UK, which, there are a lot of cards printed here, but the majority are printed globally, mostly in China, some in India. And I kind of thought, well, that would be nice to be able to sell those, support the British artists. And yes, so I had a look and read all the literature. And to my husband's disapproval, I decided that I would go ahead and sign up to sell greeting cards. Yeah, he wasn't best pleased. Yeah. So that's the story to that point, which that happened in 2006. So 20 years ago.
Yeah, so our idea here is that we're going to cap this off at about the 20-minute mark to, create this about 20-minute
Mm.
encapsulation of 20 years, celebrating 20 years, looking forward to the next 20 years, right, Carolyn?
Well, maybe, yeah, maybe it's slightly less than 20. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Well, that's part of the party and the celebration. We can have
Yeah, well,
fun
it
with that.
is.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the 2046 rendition of this show.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll have to play it by ear.
Okay, all right, I can do that. All
Yeah,
right.
I thought you might.
Yeah. All right, so now bring us back to 20 years ago. To the best you can, bring us in, tell the story of what happened 20 years ago that now brings us Carolyn's card box. How did that all happen?
Okay, so I've just previously mentioned that I met this lady who was selling these amazing British designed and British printed greeting cards. And so I took the literature home and had a read and decided within 2 or 3 hours that I thought it might be quite a nice idea to be able to sell them. Not realizing that my husband expected me to run it past him to get permission from him to do this. And so I decided, without realizing that factor, I decided that I'd go ahead and sign up. And yes, he was majorly displeased. Um, but nevertheless, I just carried on. So I got my paid for a kit. So the kit it comprised of some brochures, some literature, and a selection of cards to get me going. So it fundamentally was a kit to start you in business. So it had everything there that you needed, and all I needed to do was sort of word a letter or a note and produce some labels, and the note would be fixed into the brochures that I had, and the labels would have all my contact details on. So I started out by, I lived in a small village at the time, and so I just decided to take out the 100 brochures around the village and pop it through a few doors and see what happened. And some orders started coming in, and Carolyn's card box started, and it just sort of grew over time. I not only did the mail order through the brochures and people looking at the brochures, but also people could buy from myself when I took the cards to events. So maybe a craft fair or an event that where you could have a table space where you could sell the cards or whatever products, excuse me, whatever products other people might have there. So there was a sort of selection to entice people to come in and buy the various things. And but at that point, really, I would point out that we didn't have internet back then. And so it all had to be done by phone and letter and attending events. Um, and yeah, it wasn't until a lot later on that we were able to, because it was a multi-level marketing company. And so there were sort of kind of not restrictions, but to keep in place the quality of the products. So we didn't sort of run off and have a scrappy bit of advertising here and a bit there. We followed a kind of a protocol, which I think is important to be able to do that because you don't want you have a standard and you need to keep that standard. And so it just then over time just grew. I was invited to other events in the local area that I lived, and I just carried on posting brochures through people's doors. And of course, that would change. We'd have different products coming out at different times of the year. So we'd have some spring products come out and some summer. And always in July, we would have a conference. And at that conference, the Christmas cards would be launched. So Christmas in the retail trade is a 12-month year treadmill. You know, you finish one Christmas, and then the January you start with contacting the artists and the designs to get ready for the next Christmas coming up. So it was a perpetual conveyor belt, if you like. And so Christmas always started in July, and we would just carry on and sell the products that we had, you know, that the designs were, so some of the designs for, say, autumn, they were a theme. The same with the spring cards, they would be themed. And it would just sort of grow in that way. And as time went by, I gathered more customers as I went, and yes, it sort of grew and grew. And then along the way, obviously, the internet did come into play, and we were given guidelines because, you know, their business, you know, it was Phoenix Trading in those days, and so they had to show people that they were a quality company, they were a card producing company. So they had to sort of show people globally. So it was not only in the UK, it was also in France and Australia and New Zealand. It was very big over in Australia and New Zealand. Over time, I think America did come on and was taken in, but it was quite complex because each state had their own regulation about cards and licenses, because the license for a card would be a set amount of time. I think initially it was 3 years. So there were all sorts of things that we as Phoenix traders at that time that didn't enter our realm. We had our own little businesses, and we would have eventually, when obviously the internet did come into play, we had our own little websites, and we would pay an annual fee, which would take in the maintenance of those websites. And everybody, I think at the height, there were about 5,000 of us. So you know, it was quite a you know, a large setup, and it was like a big family really. When we met up and met all the other people that were traders at conferences, we had team leaders, so we had people that we, you know, would sponsor you in. It wasn't pyramid selling, as a lot of people would call it. It would be very, it was very open. There was nothing derogatory going on. Much to a lot of people, a lot of people sort of did say, well, yeah, we think this is pyramid selling, but it wasn't. And then going on a bit, things hadn't gone quite right, I think, with America. And in 2017, the company found themselves in administration, which I think was a couple of years. And that then led to the original, the director that started the company and two other directors. They then decided that they wanted to start again. And so we had, so 2017 was August 2017 was the last time that Phoenix Trading traded. And then February 2018, Flamingo Papery arose from the ashes, and there was a reason why it was called that. And I can't remember why it was called that, but there was something. It was relating to Phoenix and there was a sort of tie over with names. And there were a number of traders that some decided that they would retire at that point and weren't going to carry on their journey with Flamingo Papery. And I decided, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. The directors were the same directors. They'd got many of the original Phoenix artists who were happy to continue. So it was really just a change of name as opposed to a massive change. And by this time, we had the internet, so we were then allowed on social media. So it was quite a thing to be able to go onto social media because some people said, well, is it going to cause a problem with people just designing their own stuff? So they policies were set out that we would use their um, artwork for adverts and so on. So we were all seen coming from the same hymn sheet, as it were. And then as time went on, we had the COVID came in and sales rocketed, went through the roof because obviously people wanting to keep in touch with relatives and friends locally and globally. And we then over in the UK, and it's not quite clear whether this was actually the nail in the coffin or not, but a lot of us think that it was. But we had a postal strike here, November and December of 2022. And that meant that people were, shall we risk buying and not being able to send presents for Christmas? And it wasn't until so every year in January the company would look at the figures. They would fundamentally raise £10,000 for three main charities that we raise money for from the sales of the Christmas cards. And they looked at the figures come January of the so it'd be January 23, and realised that the sales weren't as good as in previous years because of the strike. People had obviously not purchased because, well, how am I going to get my cards to all my family? Obviously, there were purchases, but not as many as normal. And so it was then realised that they needed to act pretty swiftly. So they did everything in their power. So we had a great big sale for products. They didn't want to end up in administration again because that's quite costly. And so we were able to purchase products at a very reduced rate to try and clear the stock room of all the products, so they didn't have that, they weren't paying for the space where they were storing the products. And so at the end of the day, they managed to avoid administration. They managed to pay for all the creditors, all the people that they owed money to for whatever they owed the money to. And um, they then the doors closed in May 2023. And so we had a get together at one of the directors' houses, which was lovely to see everybody there. And again, some people decided that they would retire at that point, and others decided that they would do their own thing. And so there was a lot of thinking on our feet, what we would do, because obviously our website came with the business. So we all had to sort of think, oh, okay, what are we going to do now? And so it was quite a thing. And you can't get stronger through adversity, as they say. And so people branched out and had a look at what was about, and we got information from one another and shared some what we were all doing with the people that we had grown a good connection with during the time that we were trading together. And There are still people in business. Some are doing better than others. Mine has always been really a hobby business rather than a business. I enjoy people buying cards. I enjoy people receiving them. And hence the term, let the cards fall where they may. So, yes, I still sell the cards at craft fairs, selective places. And during the COVID time, I bought in a card writing service. And obviously, planes weren't traveling around the world. So there were families living abroad that had family or customers or family and friends here or business associates here. And so I used to be contacted by those people having attending, um, network meetings, online network meetings, and I was promoting myself on at those meetings just by talking to people, not pitching, just by talking to people, explaining what I did, and it kind of just grew, and I was sort of known as the Queen of Cards, and people would say I would turn up to a meeting. Oh, yeah, you're the card lady. And it that people buy ad hoc. There are things that happen, and cards need to be sent from, somebody in Australia, and they needed to be posted to somebody in the UK. So it's very ad hoc. It's not every day, but I'm there for people to help people. Be connected and continue to stay connected with people if they're not able to post the cards themselves. So, in a nutshell, that's the story as to where it came. And I'm here now, still doing what I do, still attend a few craft fairs, and I attend a fair bit of online networking, um, and just get to know people globally. That's how obviously you and I met. And I think we very first met at the Happy Neighbourhood Project, one of the meetings with Deb and Kathy. And yeah, so it's sort of gone on from there. And I've made some good friends globally. And I enjoy having our conversations because people buy from people, they don't buy from a business. So yeah, it's very interesting what people think and how people act. But yes, I always think that you buy from somebody that you trust. And yeah, so that's the story.
There you go. We encourage you to stick to it.
Yes, well, I enjoy people receiving cards. There's nothing better. The a card popping through your letterbox, and even more so if somebody's struggling with their mental health. So you've got a design of the card would be something that the person would enjoy or enjoy doing, so gardening or coastal or whatever it might be. And then you've got the words that you write in it, you then address it, you stamp it, you post it, the process. And to somebody that's feeling at a low ebb, that will touch them and make a lot of difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, um, you have a program that is chit chat. Carolyn's chit chat, right?
I
Yeah.
do, yes.
How do we get to, dive into the chit chat and enjoy that program? How does that work? How do we find it? How do
Well,
we?
I have a link that I can be contacted on, and that so the chit chat was a bit of reverse psychology, really. It's turned out to be a lot of fun. I think I've dropped about 90 episodes so far from April last year. Yes, it's great fun. I can be found on Facebook. I can be found on Instagram. My chit chats are on YouTube. So it will be on YouTube. If you would like to just bear with me, I've just closed it. That's very good, isn't it? Very professional to close something that I needed to look at. Um, and my YouTube channel is under the name of Carolyn's Card Box. and there is a podcast section there. And I tend to just ask a question, and that question is, it's non-business podcast. A lot of people thoroughly enjoy being on there. They say that it's really relaxing and it's great fun. And yes, so anybody wanting to come on my podcast, there is a link in the details on my YouTube channel. And yeah, it'd be great to have chit chats with a few more people around the globe. Yeah, it's I have a calendar that people can select a time that's suitable for them, and off we go. And then I ask the question, and 20 minutes later, we have a podcast that's put up onto YouTube, and then I cross-pollinate those posts onto LinkedIn, and occasionally, depending on where the people find themselves mostly, that would go on Facebook as well.
All right, very good. Thanks, Carolyn. And akin to what your business is in good form, I'm going to dive us right into an encore presentation because you mentioned the name of somebody very significant in our circles. And I think your mind is already well, there's maybe a couple of them, but I'm going to refer to a couple days ago. I think you might know the significance of June 4th for our one happy family member, Debbie Dub Miller.
Yeah,
She had a birthday 2 days ago.
she
So
did.
I would get, what?
She did, yes. It was great to, a lot of birthday celebrations going and messages going out to her in the ether. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to give you a chance to, we've already been kind of chit-chatting about it, but I want to give you a chance. You want to say anything more that'll stay in the celebration of Carolyn's card box? That'll be your verbal card again. Like I'm sure you already did some stuff in the last couple of days, but let's do it again. Happy birthday, Debbie Dub Miller. Anything else you want to say to finish that off?
Yeah, so yes, continued celebrations to lovely Debbie, who I've had one or two chit chats with. I've had a chit chat with yourself, and they've been great fun. And may they continue, because I think it's important to keep that communication up with people. We're not selling to one another. We become friends, we look after each other's backs, and it's just a great big community. And I think it's brilliant how we're able to communicate across the pond and beyond in using this medium. I think it's quite incredible. We're very lucky to have this medium to use and to our advantage, and to just stay connected with everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, folks, again, I'm Kurt Roskoff with the World Ability Podcast Network, board member with Helpopedia, on the America's Council with Spirit of the Game Foundation, SOTG TV here. And so, yeah, shouting out to the Happy Neighborhood Project. Most significantly, we're premiering from our happy family, Debbie Dub Miller. And in this encore, we're unpacking the gift of the present. And right now, at the present, Debbie Dub Miller is 3 minutes into Carolyn, what is that? Debbie Dub Miller is leading. She's 3 minutes into, what does she lead right at this very minute that we're talking?
I think she runs a Happy Neighborhood project meeting on a Saturday. Is that right? I haven't ever attended because the times just don't match to the time zone. So it makes it very difficult sometimes that I can't attend.
Yeah, so for everybody out there that wants to join, right now on my clock as we're producing this, it's 6/6/26. What an eerie number, huh? Eerie date,
Yeah.
6/6/26. But in any case, I better hop off before 11:06 Central. It's 11:04 Central right now. Just kidding. So that 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific, so 12 Eastern is H&P weekend. At the Happy Neighborhood Project, we are utilizing the gobrunch.com platform. So with Debbie's meeting going right on at this very moment is gobrunch.com/HMP weekend. So you're all welcome to join there. It's happy business networking. Again, the happiest place in the world for business people. And, putting to practice happiness as a default position. On Fridays on Zoom, Edwin, our chief happiness officer, does happy business networking, and people love that one because he facilitates laughter time. He just gets everybody laughing, for a minute, just for no reason, because your mind doesn't know the difference whether you're
Mm.
laughing because somebody was funny or there's something to laugh at, or if you're just like, I'm just going to laugh because laughter is the best medicine. So we always do, neat things there. So Carolyn, when we finish here, are you off to other things, or are you going to do a cameo appearance at the H&P weekend as well?
Unfortunately not. No, I've had a emergency. A neighbor, a lovely neighbor. She's on her own, and she's due to give birth to a baby in 2 or 3 weeks' time. And she didn't. Her blood pressure rose quite drastically, and she didn't feel any movement. So she's in hospital, and I'm looking after her two little dogs. So I'm sleeping in her place tonight, looking after her little dogs who have a little bit of anxiety when she's not there. So. I'm off to feed them shortly, and yes, because it's 5:06 p.m. here in the UK at the moment.
Yeah, very good. That makes me think of our other friend, Debbie Hayes, who does the World of Pets podcast. You got me thinking of that pet environment. So, yeah, we're covering
Mm,
it all with our happy
yeah,
friend here. So, all right. So, Carolyn, we'll kind of close this out here so that you can get back to you know, your service to
duties.
your duties. There we go. So thanks for doing this. Happy 20th birthday. And like I say, big celebration and big wishes for more happy years to come, as many years as you intend. And, if
Yes.
you can continue Carolyn's card box, we're looking forward to follow the rest of the story
Mm,
and your legacy. So way to go,
yes.
Carolyn.
Well,
That's
hope so.
congrats.
Hopefully I'll leave one, if nothing else.
Oh, absolutely. I'll carry it with you, Carolyn. No problem. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this celebration of 20 years with Carolyn's Card Box. And, follow along to the remainder of 2026. Catch those chit chat sessions and everything. If anybody has any comments, questions, concerns about this program, this episode, you can contact me. Call and text 262-372-1754. And you can email Kurt, Kurt, at spiritofthegame.org. Carolyn, did you want to leave any Oh, just tell us, what does that QR code go to?
That QR code goes to my website. And that's unfortunately it is only for sales in the UK, but I can briefly put up the QR code for my chit chat, which is that's the for booking, and that is my YouTube channel on the bottom. So leave that up for a few minutes for people to see whether they can book something, and yeah, be great to have a chit chat with a few other people around the globe, as I mentioned earlier. Love having chit chats with people. So yeah, finding out about what other people enjoy doing.
Excellent, excellent work, Carolyn. Thanks again for doing this. So right now, give me 10 seconds. So I got to run to those other
Okay.
devices to end the program. But this is a wrap. I'll be right back to say goodbye to you, Carolyn, but goodbye to everybody watching and listening. Oh, real quick, before I do that, I do want to give an opportunity to Macford. Macford, are you there? Did you want to say anything? We're actually done with this episode, but we're still running live. We're still on recording. Anything you wanted to say, Macford, as we're celebrating 20 years of Carolyn's Card Box? Macford.
Yeah, we are celebrating together with her a happy 20th year celebration of the company that she is running up. So we are really, really happy. We are celebrating together. So happy 20th uh, uh, birthday. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, Macford. That's very kind of you.
There you go.
So
And
I've left my contact on the chat. Maybe we can keep on getting in touch. I like community development. I like to help the rural people. So I'm just running a organization that is legal registered here in Malawi. So actually, we empower the youth on the employability and well-being, talents promotion, and the climate change resilience. As you know that Malawi since 2023, climate change has come to stay. We have been struggling with the floods and dry spell that negatively affected Malawi, whereby most of the people have lost their relatives, as well as the displacement. So really, climate change has come to stay here in Malawi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Medford. So Emily Gomer is our podcast assistant, our virtual assistant, and our scheduler. So Emily, speaking to you at the moment. If you did want to say anything, in conclusion of this 20-year celebration of Carolyn's card box, feel free, Emily. And if you want to stop the recording, Emily, and stop the YouTube, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to run to the other device to do so. All right, she's not hopping in here, so I'm figuring I'm on the task here. We're going to stop the recording.
I can end it.
Okay, anything you want to say, Emily, before you close it out? Or otherwise, just go ahead and close it out. It's all yours, Emily. Take it away. Are you ending the live stream, Emily?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. So give Emily the 10 seconds. It's about what it takes, whether she does it or I run over there. She saved me a little running around. So I can sit here and watch her end it. All right. I think we're off recording. See the YouTube. It takes her a little longer to get recording. She's got to claim host. So Emily, you're reclaiming host and ending the live stream, correct?